guys, welcome back to a new video. Now today, as you can see, I'm walking. I've got my skateboard here, but I am not riding because I have just put my bike in the bike shop. So what the guy said to me is like, I'll just charge you £80 and I'll do everything with your gears, get them all working good. And I've given him a chain ring. Not chain ring, I'm stupid. I've given him a chain for it, and he's charging me £80 for straighten chain ring, new bottom bracket, trim the wheels, putting the new chain on, sizing the chain, straightening my chain ring with an actual chain ring straightening tool, and trim my gears to the new chain, and making everything work smoothly. So, oh, and he's putting a new gear shifting cable in. So yeah, hopefully, he said, by Thursday or Friday the bike's going to be ready and it should be working well, and all I need it to do is last about a month, just last a month, and then I can buy a new chain ring. And yeah, then, because he said to me he thinks the reason why my gears keep on messing up even when I put a new chain on is because my chain ring's bent, and my chain ring being bent is like warping out the chain, so that's not very good. But today I'm going to be talking to you about which bike company is better, SE Bikes or Collective Bikes. So I'm going to stop waffling. If you're not already subscribed, subscribe, because it's free, and I'm about 9 subs off 1.6k, so you know, help me out, get me to 1.6k by the end of the week. Well, actually, that's so easy. I'll easily hit 1.6k by the end of the week, but let's try and hit 1,650 by the end of the month. Nice easy target. So yeah, share about, get your friends to subscribe, get your mum to subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah, I'll be back with you when I'm at a bench, so I can properly talk about which bike company is better, in my opinion, and what they're better at. Because the reason I'm doing this video is because my SE Bikes versus Mafia video absolutely smashed it, got like 40 likes and like 450 views. So for a part 3, which would be Mafia Bikes versus Collective Bikes, all you need to do, hit another 30 likes on the video. If on this video, and if it does well, then I'll be dropping that shortly. So let's get into it, guys. So I've literally just been chilling on this tree. I've got my skateboard here, and I actually did test out the Garston skate park. And you know, actually I had quite a bit of fun. I was literally there on my own for like an hour just skating, and it was actually quite fun. So I'm happy I went there, because I nearly didn't. I gave it a little go, and I was actually not doing too bad on the board, but obviously it's only for the moment, because I can't wait to actually, like, thinking of it now, my bike, the gears haven't worked the entire time I've actually had my 27.5 bomber. So to think that in about 3 days the bike's going to be working is actually such a good feeling. So hopefully it does work how I want it to. But we are not talking about my bike being broken, but thanks for all the support on my bike's broken video. I think I got like 240 views in like a day or something, not even a day, like 12 hours. So if you wanted to go check that video out and see why my bike's broken, you can go check that out. And at the end of the video, if you care at all, because I know a lot of you don't care too much about my skating, so I haven't really been posting any skating videos, but if you do care, then I'm going to post a couple like random little things that I got at the skate park. You can't really see anything too well because there was no one there with me, so I kind of just balanced my phone up. But I failed like once or twice, so I'll put in a couple things at the end. But today we're talking about Collective Bikes versus, Collective Bikes versus SE Bikes. That is what we're talking about today. So now this is an interesting topic, okay, because they both have their positives and their negatives. So first of all, I'm just going to go out there and say SE Bikes have been doing this stuff for a lot longer now. I should probably get a haircut, to be honest. My hair is so long, but I don't really want to cut it. So SE Bikes been making wheelie bikes for so much longer, so they have such a wide variety of choices for you to pick from, and even Mafia Bike, a quite new company, have quite a lot of bikes to pick from. However, Collective Bikes only have 3 options if you're looking to buy a wheelie bike. They have the C2, they have the C100, and they have the C100 Pro. Now, in my opinion, I like the C100, not the Pro, the C100 V2 the most. Well, I guess you can count the C100 V1 and the C100 V2, but they're literally the same bike. There's just like a couple things that are different, like literal minor differences. But in my opinion, I do prefer the C100, the above the Pro, simply because the frame is a bit smaller, and I do actually want to get one. But when I get one, I'm probably going to cut the frame down by like that much, because I want to make it a proper sick combo bike. So yeah, I am going to be doing a series on making my C100. So I'm just going to say from the start, SE Bikes are better than Collective Bikes in my opinion. Anyone saying Collective Bikes to take over, nah, that's shush, because Collective Bikes don't have that many choices. Maybe in the future they might have more, and if they have more, then obviously you can I might make a new video on it, but at the moment SE Bikes are better. So we're going to start off with price. Collective Bikes do actually have a really good price. Now for $550 you're going to be getting a 10 speed by 1 speed, a 1 speed by 10 speed bike with hydros and with Holotech cranks and Holotech bottom bracket, Z cranks, Shimano Dior clutch, derailleur for £550. Now you cannot complain and say that SE Bikes, no, Collective Bikes don't have good value bikes, alright? I want you to try and find another bike on the market that's going to have Holotechs, 10 speed, a clutch derailleur, hydros, all for under £550, and I'm promising you there's not going to be many choices, and if there is, there's like maybe 1 or 2, and they might not look the nicest compared to a C100, because a C100 does actually have a really nice looking bike, but that's C100. Now I'm going to give you my input on what I think about C2s. They're absolute, I'm not going to swear because I want to get paid, but they're absolutely awful, okay? C2s, they're awful. The sizing on them is dreadful, okay? Anyone who likes a C2 must have some weird shaped body, because I've owned a C2 in the past and I didn't like it, and I was like, okay, I'm going to give some respect, and I'm going to say that maybe I don't like it because it's my one. And sometimes you'll go on one person's bike and you'll think it's awful, because I remember the first time I went on a 27.5 bomber, I didn't like it at all. I thought the frame felt really weird and the gearing was completely weird, but I was like, maybe I'd get used to it. And when I actually got a 27.5 bomber, I got used to it. I got a C2, never got used to it, and I was like, maybe my one's just bad. I've been on like 3 C2s since then. Every single one I've been on, it is such a stretch to do crisscross. Now I'm a really small guy, so if you're quite tall, I assume it'll feel better, but literally the frame is like that long. It's like really, so the distance between you and the bar is really short, but the distance between your seat and the pegs is massive. It's bigger than a fast ripper. It's probably the biggest like drop. So if you're doing any hard tricks, if you're actually trying to do hard tricks, then it's not going to work. Like drop oppo peg on that bike, I sent it 3 times I think total, and it scared the crap out of me because the drop was so big. It literally felt bigger than a fast ripper drop. So I just never, like, I remember the time I was trying to learn it on it, and I just gave up because I was like, this is way too scary, and it took me like 20 minutes to even like send it 3 times, and keeping it up afterwards was so hard because the stretch, like I'd literally rather do drop oppo peg backwards on my bomber than do drop oppo peg on a C2, because the drop is wham. So yeah, that's basically what I think about the C2, but the prices on them are reasonable. Now Collective Bikes make C2 out to be a combo bike. I disagree completely. When it actually comes to swerves, I think it's probably one of the nicest peg bikes for swerves, alright? So if you want a fat tyre bike that's actually nice for swerving, get yourself a C2, because they're actually pretty good for swerving, and they do come with Holotech cranks. They come with quite loud hubs. They come with decent parts. Like, you can't complain about the parts, but they need to get their sizings on their bikes patterned, because The sizing on every collective bike is pretty whack. So you have the C100, massive MTB, it's like a 19-inch. I don't know, if you're tall you might find it quite normal sized, but no one's going to be saying a C100 feels small, right? Like, no one thinks that C100 feels small. And then when they have the lower end and the smaller end wheelie bikes, they have the KP1. Now I did do a review on it and I didn't actually absolutely trash talk the KP1. If you're a tiny guy, if you're like 4'5" or something, then you're gonna like the KP1 and it's gonna actually feel nice for combos most likely. But the KP1 had a slightly better frame size if you're small, but it just lacked on parts, alright? So I know it was like, I think it was still like £500, so for some reason, the frame being smaller, which would be cheaper, they decided to take off the good forks and the good cranks and the good gears, so now you're left with a 26-inch bike with dead tyres, dead forks and dead cranks. Like, I don't know what the cranks are on it, but they aren't too good. I don't understand how they can make a bike for $550 and then make a bike for what I think it was like less than like it was like $450, $500, so like not too much less. And they took off the good cranks and took off the good gears and took off the good everything that they had on the C100. If they had have made that bike about 3 inches bigger, or they had at least had that frame size maybe, or maybe like an extra 2 inches with 29-inch wheels, actual good forks, good cranks, I'm telling you, that would have been one of the best small wheelie bike frame bikes they have, like, any company's made, because that would have been perfect for people to combo. Because like, there's no like wheelie company that's made like a fairly decent 29-inch wheelie bike that's small. Like, I guess you could say the Mafia STB is probably the closest. I guess it's kind of, but I don't like STBs. I think they're pretty awful. I think their frame size is crap, and the sizing and it's all off. But some people do happen to really like the STB, so I can't hate too much on that. And we're not talking about Mafia today, we're talking about collective bikes versus SE. So I'm just going to tell you now, I'm going to go through 5 things. I know it's quite late in the video and I have been waffling, but I'm just giving my honest opinion on this. So now I'm going to go on to the 5 factors of the companies and tell you which one's better, although I've already basically told you SE bikes are better. But although I'm giving all this hate to collective bikes, don't get me wrong, they have a lot of good things which I'm going to go over now. Okay, so number 1, price. Pricing collective bikes over SE bikes any day. Their prices are great, you're going to be getting good value bike for what you're paying for. So price, number 1, easy. Collective bikes take the W. So now selection, SE bikes take the W. They've got like 20 to 30 different bikes dropping each year. They drop so many bikes and so many different colours of each bike. Like Blocks Fly, they always drop 3 colours. Big Fly, they always drop 3 colours. They usually drop 1 to 2 Big Rippers a year. This year they dropped a 2020 Might Buff, and then they dropped a Fat Quad, and they dropped a Monster Quad, and they drop so many bikes. They drop a Monster Ripper. They bring out Maniac, Dogtown, D Blocks. They have so many different bikes and so many different colours. So whatever colour you want, there's most likely an SE bike in that colour. And if not, it's quite easy to customise them. And usually, if you customise them well, it's going to look good. So SE bikes win on selection. Okay, now sizing of their bikes. I wouldn't usually say SE bikes win because they usually go for a standard like retro size. So like compared to Mafia, I think Mafia have better sizing than SE bikes when it comes to being a good frame and size for wheeling. Apart from the Fat Ripper, that has a really nice frame, and the OM Duro small frame has a really good frame for wheelies as well. So that's 2 things. 2 good SE bikes for sizing, but some of the other ones like Beast Mode, I think they're a bit too big. If they had made them a little bit smaller, it would have felt nicer. But so SE bikes are winning on sizing because collective bikes just have trash sizing. So sizing goes to SE bikes. Alright, and now this is a weird one. It's going to be like how they represent themselves. So Ryan Taylor's got himself into some controversy. I can't say the word before. But they've never been anything too bad, not like Mafia bike. They haven't, like, I personally don't think Ryan Taylor's racist or anything, but I've heard some things saying he is, but I'm going off what I think, and I think he's a fairly decent guy. I've never like disliked him. I think he's pretty alright, but I've heard a few things about him and his family that are a bit messed up. But that you can't really take that into consideration from what he is like with sponsoring people. He sponsors lots of riders, and they have a really good community, the big collective like group. So I think Collective Bikes are winning just about on this, but this is from my point of view. If I was over in America, I'd probably say maybe SE Bikes, because SE Bikes don't do too much with the UK, so I think if SE Bikes picked that up a bit, then they'd probably be winning this. So let's get on to the next one. Okay, so the next one is build quality. Now this one's just going to SE Bikes purely because when you buy an SE bike, yeah, you're getting premium stuff. Now, I don't know if this is just me, but my C2 forks, they bent and they snapped. I've never had an SE bike bend or snap. Now I know some people have, but I've never had one that's actually snapped on me. So and I've seen so many C2 snap. Like, I've never actually seen a C100 frame snap, but you don't really see MTB frame snap, to be honest. So it's like, because they have suspension, I guess that's probably why. Like, it takes most of the impact from a wheelie. But C2s, the amount of forks that have snapped, like, I know they do give you Holotechs and stuff like that, but I guess that's where they lower the price, how they lower the price, with the forks being really cheap on the C2, and maybe the frame's cheap, because I've seen some snapped C2 frames. And you do see SE bikes snap every now and then, but it's nothing as bad as what Collective Bikes and Mafia bikes have. So I've always just thought that SE bikes have been like the premium company when it comes to build quality and all that good stuff. So SE bikes are winning on build quality. Right. So yeah, so that's basically it about like the battle between the both bike companies. So obviously SE bikes has won, but not by far, to be honest. I'm saying, like, not now, but they're dropping an LH1 soon, and I'm interested to see how that comes out. I hope if they've made the frame a bit smaller, and hope they've got the size good, because obviously Harry's saying it's good, but of course if it's your own bike, when you're getting paid for each bike that's sold, you're going to say the bike's absolutely amazing, even if it's not. And I understand that, because I would do the same thing if it was me in his situation. But I think Collective Bikes are quite new. They're the newest company in the game, so I think they've got a lot of potential. So yeah, I think they do have a lot of potential. Maybe if I made this video in a year's time, maybe my opinion will change, because I'm going to get a C100 soon, and I'm going to build it up and make it all nice, and then that's going to be a little series for you guys. When I start building it up, I'll start doing episodes on that. So if you did enjoy this video, I know I was waffling a lot, but if you do like videos of me just talking about different bike related things, then leave a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you don't miss when I drop another video. So get this video to 30 likes, 30, and I will drop the part 3 on the battle of the bikes. So yeah, I haven't really given it a series name, but I guess that's what I could call it. But you know, I've already made the other one and I didn't put that in the title. But yeah, it's kind of battle of the bike companies pretty much. So thanks for watching the video. Let me know what you think and what you prefer, whether it's SE bikes or Collective Bikes. Let me know down in the comments what one you prefer, and let me know if you want to see Collective Bikes versus Mafia bikes, because those are the two newer brands, and I think that's going to be a video that you guys won't want to miss. So get it to 30 likes, and I'll see you all next video. Bye. Thanks for watching.